guys, Shreyaan here, and here they are, the Galaxy Note 20 and the Note 20 Ultra. These are phones which have leaked a lot, and they come in this matte brown color. I'm going to start with the Note 20 Ultra because that's where more the sweet, interesting stuff happens. I'm going to show you the specs now. The Samsung Note 20 Ultra comes with a Snapdragon 865 Plus, as we saw on the ROG Phone 3, 12GB of RAM, 512GB of storage, which is still expandable via micro SD card. And then there's a 4500 mAh battery at the back. A triple camera array, which we'll talk about in a second. And then this huge 6.9-inch display, 1440p, 120Hz AMOLED display with that little hole punch cutout at the top for the selfie camera. It is a bit of a curved display between the edges, which for me, I don't like it, but I don't hate it either. This is probably the best display seen in any smartphone. So subscribe for the full review because I'll have it coming soon. For the display settings, there's either adaptive or standard. Standard is 60Hz and adaptive will move between 120 and 60Hz. You can't lock it at 120Hz, but it will move between 60 and 120Hz based on what's happening. If you change the settings to 1440p, it will tell you that it's not allowed to switch between 60 and 120Hz in adaptive refreshing. If I would be using this phone, I would probably lock it at 1080p because I personally think it looks better in higher frame rate than with higher pixels. The bezels look slim on this phone and it feels great in the hand due to that mystic satin finish at the back. It just feels premium. It's all glass from the top to the bottom. Now let's talk about this huge camera bump. So the rounded rectangle camera bump, like we saw in the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, it's absolutely massive. I don't know exactly how big it is, but it's really big like the S20 Ultra. And it looks bigger because it's just on one rectangle sized square cutout. Because the S20 Ultra had double stepped rectangles on it, so it looked a bit smaller. Inside this huge camera bump, you have a 108 megapixel f1.8 sensor, 12 megapixel telephoto, 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, and a time of flight camera. And this is allowing you 5x optical zoom and 50x digital zoom. This doesn't provide you the 100x zoom that they printed at the back of the S20 Ultra, and I think Samsung realized that it's not true 100 times zoom. The 2 times and the 5 times telephoto zoom looks better because you have the 20 times optical periscope lens at the back. And they also kept the 8K video recording from the S20 Ultra. The 8K video will be shot from the 2 times telephoto, not the main camera. So when you want to shoot 8K, it will be cropped into the sensor. And of course, it won't be a Note if it doesn't have the S Pen. This time the S Pen is on the left side of the phone, and they have made a huge leap forward in terms of the latency. And it has matched the Apple Pencil latency of 9 milliseconds. Last time it was 42 milliseconds, and now they've moved it to 9 milliseconds. So latency is basically when you press and the software recognizes it. And it feels that it's immediate because of that 9 millisecond response time. That latency combined with the little subtle changes that Samsung did to the software, it feels like a whole complete package. Now let's talk about the Galaxy Note 20 and find out where Samsung has made all of the cut downs. It still has those textured finish at the back, and it has a smaller camera bump, and the back is plastic, not glass. It still has a glass screen, it still has a hole punch cutout, great brightness, and slightly smaller 6.7 inches display screen, and which is flat, which I actually like better than the curved display. still has the S Pen, of course, as the Note. The bezels on the Note 20 are slightly bigger than the bezels on the Note 20 Ultra, and the screen is now 1080p at 60Hz instead of 1440p at 90Hz, and the Snapdragon 865 Plus is still there, and now it maxes out at 128 gigs of storage, and you cannot expand the storage with a micro SD card. So 128 gigs is the absolute max. Now for the S Pen, of course it has the S Pen, but the latency now is not 9 milliseconds, it's 26 milliseconds, which is still like a 50% improvement, but not the same as the Ultra. The Note 20 also has a slightly smaller 4300 mAh battery, and the Ultra has a 45 mAh battery. Now for the cameras. The camera maxes out at 50x, which is of course digital zoom, not optical zoom. It has the periscope camera at the back, and the main is a 12 megapixel and ultra wide is 12 megapixel, and the telephoto is a 64 megapixel camera. The Note 20 is what the S20 is to the S20 Ultra. It's a slightly lower price from the flagship, and it's cutting down on those expensive parts. And of course, there are also Note exclusive features, for example, the Samsung DeX. So if you remember what the Samsung DeX could do, it could cast your phone to a laptop screen with a wire, and now they have introduced wirelessly. So make sure you subscribe for the full review because I'm currently working on it. And tell me down in the comments below what you think of Samsung Galaxy Note 20 and the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra existing at the same time. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and catch you guys in the next one.